One of the biggest things I think I see people struggle with the most is the inability to think differently than the way they currently think. A lot of us are raised a certain way to see things the way that we want to see things. And what I see a lot of people struggle with is the inability to think that there may be other ways of doing things or other things that are outside of what they currently know. It's kind of like that old saying goes, right? You don't know what you don't know. And I think that what holds a lot of people back is that they sometimes have a hard time setting their ego aside or setting their pride aside and basically looking at other people that are where they want to be or doing the things that they want to do to get to where they want to get to be. So for me, for example, I seek people out personally, and what was the biggest game changer for me was seeking people out personally that are where I want to be. I'm not good at everything, and I know that about myself. It took me a long time to set my ego aside and figure that out. And I'm a big proponent of basically going out and seeking people and seeking the knowledge that are currently where I want to be. So for example, I'm really good at getting up every day, staying consistent, but maybe I'm not that great at figuring out certain details within a business. Maybe I'm not that great at a certain skill set. So one of the things that's been a game changer for me is basically going out and finding people that are really good at these things and setting my personal ego aside and knowing that my way isn't always the right way. I spent a good majority of my 20s doing things my way, thinking I was the right way. And I think that, pride probably got in the way of a lot of that, ego got in the way of a lot of that, basically saying, I'll figure it out on my own. And I think that there was a lot of really good lessons to be had in that. I did figure out a lot of things on my own. However, as I've gotten older, I figured out that it's probably a way better idea to go out and seek advice to people that know more than me, because that's going to allow me to fast track and get where I want to be a little bit quicker. It also offers me a little bit different of a perspective. We only see things the way that we want to see them, and I think that so many people get tied up kind of thinking differently, right? It's hard sometimes to reflect inside and say, hey, maybe I'm wrong about this, maybe I don't know the answers, maybe I don't have all of the answers, maybe I'm just not looking at this right, and nobody wants to admit that these days. So one of the things for me was, having that ability to really shift and change perspective. The reality of it is we're all exactly where we are because of what we know or what we don't know. To take it to that next level, right? If you're currently working basically a 9-to-5 job and you hate it and you want to get out and you want to go be self-employed, you don't really know what that looks like on the other side of the coin, which is what probably scares you from quitting that job or taking that risk or trying something new. And so I think that, our inability to basically seek out people and figure out that information has been basically what gets a lot of people in the way. I know it's what got me in my own way. So, as I think about this and I talk to a lot of people, this always seems to be the biggest bottleneck for them, basically taking that next step and taking that next journey, is just basically having that ability to set your ego aside, reach out to somebody that's doing better than them in that particular area of life or has mastered the skill in that area of life, and seeking out their advice, seeing what they recommend that they should do, asking for a little bit of help. That's been such a game changer for me, honestly, is just surrounding myself with people that think differently than how I think. It's helped me accelerate where I want to go so much quicker. The easiest thing that I have come to realize as well, that you guys probably should too, is that if you don't have the knowledge that you need to get to where you're going to get, you're not going to get there. Simple as that. So reaching out to people that, like I said, have that knowledge, setting your ego aside, and basically, like I said, understanding there are probably better ways of doing things, and the way you're doing things right now is going to help you only get there that much quicker. But you have to be open to new ideas. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to set your ego aside, set your current thoughts and the way you see things and the way you view things. You have to be open to new ideas, and you have to be willing to learn, and you have to be able to decipher that information that you learn. And maybe sometimes that means that the way you think and the way you look at certain situations and the way you handle certain things, it could be wrong. Not everybody wants to admit that, but that's the truth. So I would offer that piece of advice to you guys that are looking to take it to the next level. Really take a reality check, and if you're feeling stuck and you're not getting to where you want to be, is that because you're unwilling to look at new ideas? In my opinion, it's going to be the unwillingness to learn something new and putting it into action. Those two things go hand in hand. You could have all the knowledge in the world that you want, but if you don't have the action to put it into play, you're not going to get there. You could have all the action in the world and work as hard as you want, but if you're too stubborn to basically set your own ego aside or look for other viewpoints or other ways of doing something or more efficient ways of doing something, you're never going to get there no matter how hard you work. Those two things, in my opinion, go hand in hand. Once I figured that out, it has fast-tracked me, and I'm constantly always looking for ways to evolve, always looking for ways to learn. I'm basically a student of learning now for the rest of my life. As I take on something new or take on a new venture, I no longer basically have it in my mind that I need to just figure this out on my own. I will personally go out and seek people that have more knowledge on that topic than I do, and I'll ask them for their advice, and it helps me get there that much quicker. So hopefully that adds a little bit of value to some of you guys today. As always, like I said, hopefully you guys go out and crush it, and I look forward to hearing you guys' future goals and how you guys are killing it.